to Naturalista's Insightful Journey series. In this episode, we're joined by Denise Jordan, the Executive Vice President of the Greater Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce. With over 2 decades of leadership and experience, Denise shares her inspiring journey of breaking barriers and achieving success. This week on Naturalista, we're focusing on determination, overcoming challenges, and how to balance life's demands while still making time for personal passions. Our guest today, Denise Jordan, serves as the Executive Vice President of the Greater Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce, overseeing a membership of 1,200 companies with over 400,000 employees. 2 decades of experience in association management, Denise has held prominent roles, including CEO of the Deerfield Beach Chamber of Commerce and the U.S. Tennis Association, and has worked with the American Parkinson's Association. Denise is a dedicated community leader and has been honored with numerous leadership awards, including the Apogee Award, right, in 2022. Let's welcome Denise Jordan to the show. Hi, Denise. How are you today?
Hi, Judith. Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted.
Yes, we're so happy to have you. Yeah. What are the biggest challenges you face in this business world or everything that you've been exposed to over the years?
Well, we all know that most people don't participate, in terms of being a woman. Mm-hmm. And it's always been a challenge, being heard, being seen, and climbing the corporate ladder.
So tell us a little bit about your exciting moments. So let's say it's the beginning of your career. You're in your
20s.
Okay, so what did you do? Tell me a little bit about what you did and how did you start climbing and what kind of strength it took?
Well, actually, first I have to talk about the mayor of New York City. I was born and raised in New York City.
Wow, yes, our great hometown.
Yeah, so competition is that, they had a group of high schoolers who basically said, we want to put you in areas of interest. So I was in film, I was in politics, I was in government, and that kind of formulated, where I was going as an individual.
Polishing.
It was yes, absolutely,
wow.
Absolutely. So with that, you got lots of exposure and also the creativity of filmmaking. And subsequently what happened was we moved into Sandy Becker at the time. And we were on, television and this whole documentary that we did as kids. So
what was the name of the documentary?
It was called Life in New York.
Ha! How apropos.
Yeah, how about that? Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
So if you could divide your life into the most exciting moments and the least exciting, when it came to facing New York, it's not an easy environment unless you're born and raised there and trained on how to deal with the different types of energies and people surrounding you, right? But tell me, what was one exciting moment you had in your career that you couldn't believe that you had accomplished?
Well, let's go back to the United States Tennis Association.
Okay.
So here I am as a player. And then years after that, I get a call from someone who I met as a tournament director and said, Denise, we really want you to come in because, tennis was really hemorrhaging at the time. Women were going back to work and, there weren't a lot of participation. And so what we did was, at the time, is really spend a lot of time having this kind of interview, situation. Mm-hmm. I was actually in real estate.
So from real estate to tennis?
From real estate to tennis.
Wow.
And I was a consultant for them. I said, look, I can't do this full time, but I can do this, on a part-time basis because of the real estate. Subsequently, what happened is I became the CEO of the section.
And you were there for how long?
I was there for 5.5 years.
And how did it feel? You were this a great association that's helping so many children from all different types and walks of life.
Absolutely.
And it's it made such a difference with certain very ideally stars that we have today.
It did, like Serena Williams, that's right, Coco Gauff, yeah, and subsequent other people as well.
Yes.
So again, in a situation where there weren't a lot, it was all male dominated. And of course, being a person of color, that was a whole different ballgame. That was another added dimension to it. So, through that, came out with what's called Plan for Growth. And that was actually part of my consulting at the time.
Wow.
Is how to get more people involved in tennis. So subsequently, it became I think it was a $6 million program. And through that, we were able to get Nike and Adidas and a lot of the sporting industry involved in terms of sponsorship.
Amazing. And I did see many of those matches
Yes.
throughout the years, that is. And it's so exciting to see a teenager put in all that effort, right?
Yes.
And work for that training to manage to get to one of these teams, to get to one of these higher level matches.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
And it takes discipline.
Yes.
And it takes that you manage your life, because everything is taken, whether it's your sleep, whether it's what you eat, when you practice, and then the mental part of all of that. Which plays an amazing part.
It's a big role. I think it's
a
the
big
biggest role because you have to get your mind to get you to do all the other things. Strategies that you find most effective in overcoming gender bias in the workplace?
I think it's basically talking about it. Really having those kinds of open communication and discussions about, what that really means, and not being adversarial at the same time, but having teachable moments.
Teachable moments.
Teachable
I love
moments.
it. So let's say a teachable moment in New York.
Yes.
I mean, the finance industry is one of those very bareheaded places where you have to completely just put your whole soul into not doing something you're going to regret with
Correct.
certain things that people did during that time.
Yes.
However, you learn with time, and this is what my experience is, and I'm going to ask you in a moment what is yours. I've learned to just process it without giving a judgment. And once that happens, it just kind of passes along, and it doesn't affect you one way or another, but it passed.
Yes.
You actually accepted it. So what was your experience?
Story,
Sure.
which is so Althea Gibson, who was one of the first champions, of color back, I guess, in the 50s or something like that.
Right.
I can't remember her and Arthur Ashe and whatnot. And I was asked to do the eulogy.
Oh my goodness.
And so we were in New Jersey with thousands of people who descended, and I told this story. And you're exposed to a larger audience, but even the audience that thinks they know you did not know you.
Wow.
And so it was a very powerful and liberating, experience, to be out in front and to tell the compelling story of how I even met her. And briefly, she was having a clinic in Central Park. And so she walks in, she's, 6 foot, whatever she was.
Humongous.
And, yeah, and I'm looking up, and she says, "I'm here to talk to Denise Jordan." And I said, "You're talking to her." She says, "Are you standing up?"
That's hilarious.
So, it was just those kind of anecdotal things that went on during the course of tennis.
Wow. So you had a life with tennis. Tennis was your life. Those were I'm going to say your children. So tell us about your children in tennis.
Oh my goodness. Right up until now, I still get, all kinds of emails. I even had a story, someone called me about 2 years ago, and it says, "Hi, this is Teddy Miller. Is this Denise?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "Do you remember me?" And she says, I was one of your kids. He became an FBI agent. He had just retired. He's got, a large family together. And he says, "Because of you and the discipline that you gave me and the thought process that I could be anything that I want to be, I'm calling you to thank you."
Look at that.
Now, how's that?
Amazing. And you probably felt so great because you had changed someone's life.
Changed someone's life.
That was just one call.
One
Out
call.
of the many you had.
Oh, yeah, because some of them became entrepreneurs, doctors, attorneys, CPAs, so a variety of children who basically, didn't have the money to support themselves, tennis-wise. But one of the things that we did was to make sure that I went to their PTA meetings, I talked to their parents, I was really invested in who they were as individuals, and that made a difference.
It did. Changed their lives.
It certainly did. Certainly did.
So if you could tell me a little bit about your mentors. So
Yes.
early in life, who were the women who influenced you to just go to the top of the sky?
Well, my great aunts, actually. And it's so funny that you should mention that, because on Facebook, someone just sent me an article and a posting of my great aunt, which was Zelda Wynn. And the two sisters actually started what was called Shade Zelda Wynn. They were the first Black-owned fashion, and they did clothing for the first shirt for Harold Belafonte.
Belafonte.
That's right. Eartha Kitt.
Wow.
Ella Fitzgerald, Sammy Davis, the Pips, Dionne Warwick, and so on and so forth. So for me, to watch them and their work ethic was really important as a child growing up.
So you were just absorbing their energy
Absolutely.
and their ethics and how they worked, and then you applied it to the U.S. Tennis Association, and then...
anything. And it didn't matter, because I was in government, I was in real estate, and I was in tennis, and I'm back in business. So there you go.
And now you
Full circle.
Now you're...
At the Chamber as the executive vice president.
And how long have you been there for?
Let's see, 6 years.
That's amazing.
6 years.
And what is the big difference between your experience in tennis and now a big business like the Chamber?
Well, I'll tell you, the one constant thing is networking. And that is not transactional, but that is relational. It's relationships.
Right.
And if you have a relationship with people, people buy with people who they respect and they understand. And those are the people that you want to be associated with. And that goes for business no matter what you do.
Right, but you're at a bigger scale.
I'm at a bigger scale.
You're dealing
That's
with,
right.
thousands of businesses and different situations or different campaigns that they want to create.
That's right.
For their companies.
That's right.
So it's a big difference.
Oh, yeah. And then, the masterminds that go on, that I sit on one-on-one with people. It says, okay, where are you? Where do you want to be? How are we going to get there?
Yes.
And help them plan that.
And let's go.
That's
right.
Or they'll say, oh, I need a connection on so-and-so. Okay, well, let me make that connection for you.
So you're basically a giant connector.
Connector. All day long.
Of relationships.
Of relationships. Absolutely.
To help people elevate in their
That's
business.
right, and scale their business.
That's amazing. It's amazing. So what, during your tennis years, what have you applied, did you apply then that you're applying now?
Creativity, and to always continue to learn. That's important. Because once you do that, and you continue to do that, you stay ahead of the curve instead of in back of the curve.
Right, which is AI now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, which I'm using.
Yes, we all are.
Which I'm using.
Oh my God, I'm so happy to have you here, Denise. I think your story is going to be instrumental for some young ladies who are trying to figure out what to do with their lives, or does it take? It takes a good mentor.
It takes a good mentor. It also takes risk. And anything that's worthwhile is outside your comfort zone. And so if you can be, out there and it feels uncomfortable, that's where you need to be.
That's what you're supposed to be
That's
doing.
what you're supposed to be doing,
Oh,
not
my
comfort
goodness.
zone.
That's amazing.
That's it.
Denise, if you could give me 3 tips for our viewers. Let's say they're in a situation, they're at a job, they're not happy, it's a 9 to 5, it's taking care of the bills, but they want to follow their desires and their dreams, but they haven't had the opportunity to do so. What would you suggest they take as 3 steps?
I say link up with someone that you respect, someone that you admire, read, and take that risk.
Wow. Take that risk. You hear that, Naturalistas?
Take that risk.
You have to jump at some point and make it happen. We are so grateful to have you here, Denise. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for your story. And we can't wait to have you again.
I'm looking forward to it.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Thank you, Naturalistas. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.
It's all about dreams, Naturalistas. So let's tell you what they are and how they benefit you.
Back to Naturalista. Today we are discussing dreams. Are they mental experiences that occur during sleep, filled with images, emotions, sounds, and sensations? They often happen during the rapid eye movement stage of sleep, when brain activity is high, similar to when we're awake. Dreams can feel vivid and real, or abstract and fleeting. Mix of memories, subconscious thoughts, and external influences. In many cultures and spiritual belief, dreams are considered more than just mental activity. They are seen as a gateway to the subconscious mind, a spiritual realm, or a source of divine messages. Dreams can serve different purposes. One, it could be problem solving. Dreams often work through unresolved issues, helping us process emotions and find solutions we might not see in waking life. Next, they could be creative inspirations. Many artists, writers, and scientists have drawn inspirations from dreams as they allow the mind to think freely without logic or constraints. Emotional processing. Dreams help us process feelings, particularly those tied to stress, trauma, or unfulfilled desires. The other kind could be spiritual messages. In spiritual perspectives, dreams are seen as a form of communication with higher powers, ancestors, and spirit guides. The symbolic reflection of dreams often use symbols or metaphors to mirror our thoughts, fears, and aspirations, acting as a subconscious language we can learn to interpret. Understanding dreams can deepen self-awareness, provide clarity of life solutions, and connect us with both our inner self and the spiritual realm. Why not explore their meanings or learn how to interpret them? Dreams are more than just random images. They're messages from the spiritual realm, guiding us, warning us, or even offering us glimpses of the future. In this episode, we'll explore how to interpret these dreams, identify their meaning, and use them to empower our lives. Let's say, for example, you have a dream of being on a bridge, a dream of being baptized, a dream of seeing a huge anaconda. These types of dreams are warning dreams or dreams that prophesize. They often offer a glimpse into possible future events. These dreams often feel vivid and leave a deep emotional impression, like you've been shown something important that you need to prepare for. Seeing yourself in a specific setting that later unfolds in real life, what's the key takeaway? Well, these dreams are not guarantees of the future, but rather messages to help align and prepare. Let's do a call to action. Encourage yourself to wonder why you're dreaming. What is this dream telling you? What is it representing in your life? We have warning dreams. They feel unsettling and intense, signaling danger, toxic energy, or misaligned relationships. How about you had a dream of falling, being chased, or darkness surrounding a specific person or situation? That's a sign. These dreams are prompts to access your relationships, choices, and situations in waking life. Reflect deeply on these dreams and consider making changes where needed. Explain the guidance. Let's say you're dreaming of a clear path, helpful activities or advice or symbols like light or open doors. These dreams help you solve problems, navigate challenges, and connect to the higher self. Call to action is to act on clarity. Have another symbol, darkness in a dream. Darkness in a dream can represent fear, uncertainty, or a transitional phase in your spiritual journey. Walking through a dark forest or being in a shadowed room, something to think about. What aspects of your life feel hidden or unresolved? Embrace these dreams as opportunities to self-discovery and growth. Let's say you have a dream about sunshine, bright light. Represents clarity, guidance, hope, and divine intervention. Let's say you're dreaming of sunlight breaking through clouds or walking towards a bright horizon. What in your life is becoming clearer or more hopeful? Use this light as encouragement to move forward confidently. Feeling stuck or isolated. That means being in a dark room. Needing introspection or spiritual renewal. Sitting alone in a dark room without a way out. Well, what truth about yourself or your situation are you avoiding? Spend time journaling or meditating to uncover hidden answers. The emotional energy in a dream meaning the tone of the dream is peaceful, joyful, reflects its purpose. A dream leaves you feeling uneasy, could signal unresolved emotional work. How did the dream make you feel? And what does it tell you about its message? Trust your emotions to guide you into the interpretation. Making sense of your dreams is not easy. In your journal, as soon as you wake up, write down the symbols, the feelings, the key moments, helps you identify patterns and recurring messages over time. Meditation and mindfulness. Explain how meditation can help you recall and connect with your dreams on a deeper level. Before you go to sleep, set an intention to receive and remember spiritual messages in your dreams. Seeing clarity. Remind yourself every day that dreams are symbolic. Use your intuition to discern whether a dream feels significant or is just your subconscious. Processing daily life, share advice on connecting with spiritual mentors or guides for further interpretation. Dreams are powerful tools from the spiritual realm, offering you guidance, solutions, and even warnings. By paying attention to their messages, we can align more deeply with our true purpose. Remember, trust your intuition and let the dreams lead the way. Thank you so much for watching Naturalista, and we will see you next time. Naturalistas, we are back and we have Dr. James Ghattas from
Palm Beach, Regenerative Sport and Spa.
You see, I'm inviting people to help me today. Anyway, we are here because we have some exciting developments in that Dr. Ghattas is working very hard to bring to Palm Beach, help everyone feel better without having to have surgery. So what are your choices? Can you tell us a little bit about your background? What made you interested in helping people with these different ways that we're going to be speaking about today?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Wonderful opportunity. So thanks again. It was kind of a long and circuitous road, really, which is different than, your classic, oh, I always knew I was going to get a doctor's story. I went into medicine after inspiration from one of my AP biology teachers who knew about osteopathic medicine. I didn't really know what that was at the time, but after applying to medical school, I discovered what osteopathic medicine was, which is a DO, which I think I have it here on my shirt.
Yes, look at that, it says it.
And it's a medical degree, much like an MD. We just have an additional curriculum, an additional philosophy that addresses more holistic care and a special emphasis on manual musculoskeletal medicine. So went to med school, did the typical med school stuff. We all studied for the same boards and so on, but I had a particular interest in musculoskeletal. And, I went through medicine and med school and discovered that I really enjoyed neuroanatomy. It just made sense to me, logical,
that's a pretty big word.
Complex. Yeah. And so when I was applying to residency, I was in between neurology and physical medicine. That's because they're very complementary and they really affect our lives as individuals and they kind of define who we are as humans. And so I matched into a residency at the University of South Florida. I did, acute hospital-based neurology, which is strokes, epilepsy, inflammatory disorders. Fortunate enough to go to a program that had a heavy musculoskeletal focused program, which is very unique in neurology.
Mm-hmm.
And so discovered that I really enjoyed pain management. Finishing my neurology residency and taking the boards and all that fun stuff, I matched into a pain management fellowship where we focus mainly on injection-based therapies for disorder, back pain, neck pain, cancer pain, nerve pain. So just anything out there that hurts, there's a remedy for it. Of course. And then I worked in pain management for about 6 months in private practice.
6 months.
Just 6 months.
That's all.
Yeah, it's all it took. And, I gained a lot of really experience from it. I gained a lot of technical and procedural skill from that. Yeah. But I started to discover that there is this growing gap in between what can be offered for everyday individuals with common musculoskeletal problems. There's this gap between doing conservative care, which is like physical therapy, chiropractic care, massages, things like that, and then surgery, which is like a far extreme, you know?
Right.
And there's this whole spectrum of stuff in the middle that nobody's really addressing. And the only options that are out there are like steroid injections, and then some other like devices.
How effective are the steroid injections?
That's a very good question. Steroids are great at shutting off pain because it is a very strong anti-inflammatory. It's like dropping an atomic bomb on a fire or like a fire extinguisher. It shuts everything off so it stops hurting. But it's not addressing the underlying issue. And traditionally, we use very, very high doses of steroids to treat things like knee pain and back pain and so on. And while that might help the pain temporarily, the issue isn't resolved. So the problem eventually comes back again. And with each repeated steroid injection, the